For me, when I was first getting started on my journey, I can reflect back on a man that had a ton of ambition and had just was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and wanted to go and make a difference and had this view of, I'm going to go change the world, I'm going to go change the planet and make a big difference, and everything that I do is going to change the world. And I think that the university and the school, when you're younger, kind of gives you this idea that that's how the world is like. And that when people go out into the real world and they experience what reality is actually like, they get smacked in the face with what reality is, which is that things are a lot more difficult to do than what you think it is. But the paradox around difficulty is that if you're doing something that you know deep down inside you're supposed to be doing that's worthwhile, it's not so difficult. It actually becomes really fun. And the work is actually really enjoyable. It doesn't feel like work, it feels like play. Because you know that you're aligned with exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And for me, when I was younger and I was trying to discover all these things, I realized that I had a lot of things that I really enjoyed doing. I really enjoyed playing music. I really enjoyed writing. I really enjoyed Qigong. I really enjoyed karate. I really enjoyed dancing. I really enjoyed acting. I really enjoyed making videos, a lot of things. And the challenge became, how do I split my time up? What do I do with my time? And I felt myself spending years and years and years torn between the difference of doing something that I want to do versus doing something that I know I should be doing. And I tried to convince myself that doing the things that I wanted to do were the things that I needed to be doing. And I got a lot of things done. I wrote a book. I made lots of videos I'm very proud of. I've written music that I'm proud of. I've learned languages and done lots of cool things because I enjoyed those things. And yeah, they're nice skills and everything. But I was looking at my life as sort of like a checklist. Like, oh, yep, did that, check, next, check, check. As if there was like things I needed to collect in life. Like I needed to collect these experiences to say that I had a fulfilling life. And what I realized was that I didn't really know what commitment meant. Didn't know what that meant. I had bought this new age lie of, if it doesn't feel good, if I'm trying too hard and it's not working, that I need to give up, or that I can just spread myself thin and that everything would magically work and that everything would just happen. And I spent way too long figuring out that that's never the case. Whenever I meet somebody and they tell me that they're working on a million projects, oh, I got this thing going on, oh, I got this store, oh, I do that, immediately I know inside that they actually have nothing going on. I know inside that they're juggling a million things and have a bunch of half-baked projects, because I would say it's impossible. It's almost impossible to really, truly be doing those things. When I meet a lot of people that call themselves serial entrepreneurs, my eyebrow raises a little bit. And the thing is that it's not like it's impossible to be a serial entrepreneur. It's just that it's very challenging to be a serial entrepreneur. And what I'm finding is that really, in order to be able to live that lifestyle, to really be able to start businesses and get them going, is that you really have to go all in on one specific thing that you're doing. You can't stray from that. You have to lock down into a specific schedule. For me, like, I've been traveling on this project that I've been working with. I'm in Edinburgh right now. And despite where the location is, despite the new scenery, despite the cool new places and the new foods and the interesting accents and the nature and everything, I'm still locked in on everything that I'm doing within the business. I'm operating this fun project like it's a business. And I see a lot of people that come and go in either interfacing with me in my life or in the business that we're working on. And their energy is so chaotic, it's so scattered, it's like chasing a pie in the sky idea. And what they don't realize is that true fulfillment, true satisfaction, truly finding yourself as a man in the world is deepening in their purpose. And what's so cool is that a project can be an extension of your purpose. a project or a business can be a reflection of how you show up in your life. If you're late for a project, you're going to be late for your businesses. You're going to be late for important events. If you're sloppy with your project, you're going to be sloppy with your communication. You're going to be sloppy with everything. So it always goes back to the old axiom of the way you do everything is the way that you do anything. And the biggest challenge I went through when I was younger is trying to do everything and then doing nothing. And then getting so fed up and frustrated with not being able to get the things done that I wanted to get done that I just kind of threw up my hands and just like left a 75% done project. It was only until I really started partnering with people that could balance me out, that had a common mission, that were dedicated and motivated to something bigger than themselves, something bigger than their paycheck, something bigger than their ego, something bigger than the story that they want to be able to tell themselves. And through really dedicating myself through like martial arts, for example, I was able to learn that resistance isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's God constantly asking you, do you really want this? Are you really ready to level up? And then pushing you. Because if you're given these massive things and these massive tasks to do, but you don't have any sense of responsibility, don't have any sense of organization, your brain is in a million different places, you're not organized, you don't take care of your body, you have all these dreams and desires but don't actually take the real actions that move the needle, you're not going to get anywhere in your life. And you're going to live your whole life kidding yourself into thinking that you'll be able to do anything. And those things are going to reflect even deeper in your relationships. If you can't commit to a project when the going gets tough, guess what? You're not going to commit to a relationship when the going gets tough. When you can't commit to anything when the going gets tough, guess what? People are going to lose respect for you. A woman's never going to be able to trust you. She's never going to be able to feel safe with you. Your children will not respect you. You won't respect yourself. And then you're going to find yourself surrounding yourself with a bunch of sycophants that will boost your ego up to be a bunch of yes men to tell you what you want to hear rather than what you need to hear. And when I realized that my dream wasn't going to build itself, that was when I got really real about what I wanted to be and who I needed to be, and did the actions and found the love in the day-to-day work, and constantly asking myself the question, how can I make this more fun? How can I make this more graceful? How can I make this more exciting? And then God, or whatever, the universal mind, continually showed me exactly how to have fun, exactly how to have more grace, exactly how to have more abundance. But the thing was that I couldn't stray from the work I needed to do. I still work all day long, but I have fun doing it because I know that what I'm doing is something that's so much more worth the story that I tell myself. It's so beyond the identity of Don, myself. And that's what I really feel like it truly means to be a man. Because my father never really had the tools or the understanding or really the wisdom to share with me about what it meant to be a man, I spent a large portion of my adult life, and I'm still figuring out the nuances of it, but I spent a large portion of my adult life trying to figure out those questions and answer those questions myself, when I really should have been living it, right, rather than figuring it out. I should have learned this when I was a child and then started living it when I was 18, but society and the world has it so that men really don't know what men are anymore, and they don't really know what it means to show up as a man in the world. And so I really found out that, for me at least, when you can be responsible, not only for yourself, but that you can take on the responsibility for other people, that's what it means to be a man. That you find honor, and you find value, and you find a sense of fulfillment and purpose in being able to carry others, even if you don't want to. Because it's hard to carry yourself. It's hard to lead yourself. A lot of men are just children in adults' bodies. They can't lead themselves. And when you finally find the ability to lead yourself, you sort of plateau. You're like, okay, I can lead myself. I can get up. I can wash my ass. I can cook dinner. I can clock in and clock out and do a job. What more is there? And your ability to be leaned on is indicative of your level of maturity, your level of masculinity. Can people rely on you? Can people trust that you're going to show up on time? Can people trust that you're going to follow through? Can people trust that you say one thing and do what you say you're going to do? All of these things seem so simple and so obvious and so fundamental, but a lot of the times when we reflect on our friends or we reflect on ourselves or our past behaviors or the way in which the world works, it's kind of sad just how many people can't keep their word. Not because they're malicious people, not because they want something bad for you or they have malintent for you, but simply because they have convinced themselves that they can, but they really can't. And they haven't had the depth of awareness to realize the things that it takes, the sacrifice that it takes, the devotion and the dedication it takes. And I find a very immature person is somebody that thinks self-sacrifice is somehow a bad thing. That sacrificing one's time or sacrificing one's money or sacrificing one's attention for something greater than themselves is somehow stopping them from being free. That doing something difficult is not allowing them to be free. That spending your time and attention investing into and loving and nurturing and uplifting another person somehow makes you not free. And for me, I found the most freedom in my life when I realized that I had the capacity to carry myself and to carry others. Because freedom requires you to have a very high skill level. It requires you to be able to sacrifice. How can you be free to do whatever you want if you have a sick body? How can you be free to do whatever you want if you have nothing in your bank account? You need to be a valuable person to make money. You need to be consistent, and you need to understand buying psychology and do a bunch of things to make money. You can't be free if you're broke. You can't do anything unless you have discipline. So the paradox is that discipline is freedom. And through the container that is discipline and consistency and something greater than yourself comes the freedom. It allows the freedom. You have to be disciplined to exercise. You have to be disciplined to eat healthy food. You have to be disciplined to fast when your body's telling you to fast. You have to be disciplined to get a good sleep schedule. You can't be scrolling on social media. You can't be watching Netflix until 3 a.m. You can't be doing those things. That takes discipline. It takes sacrifice. And all of those behaviors amalgamated together creates a healthy body, a healthy mind, a lively personality, somebody that's radiating, somebody that's ready to show up and conquer the day every day. All requires discipline. It all requires self-sacrifice. But if the word sacrifice rubs you the wrong way, I like to use the word devotion instead. Devotion is a wholehearted commitment. It is an honor and a privilege it's an honor and a privilege to be able to be the best you can for yourself and for other people and for God, a higher power, a more virtuous life. It's an honor. How can that be something that is not worth doing? How can people feel like living that way is somehow inhibiting them from being free? What I realize is that people that think that way are really actually scared of responsibility. They're really actually afraid of being accountable. They're really afraid of what that means because it means that they have to change, and change is scary, and change takes time. And it requires you to reflect on yourself and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't have it all figured out. And a lot of people don't want to say that. A lot of people want to find people that are yes men and will never challenge them to change. So a lot of people talk to me, and I find that they are lost in life. They're figuring themselves out. They don't know what to do. They're like, oh, should I do this? Should I start this project? Should I go here? What I say to that is this: you can't do everything all at once. You won't do everything all at once. And the only way to do everything all at once is if you have bokus of money and a massive team of people that are totally enamored with what you're doing, that will build the business for you afterwards. But even then, you can't energetically leave until it has completely grown into an adult as itself, as the project, as the baby that you gave birth to. But most people aren't in that position. So to those people that aren't in that position, this is what I would say. If you're in a discovery phase, when you don't know what you want, you know you like a lot of things, but you don't know what you want, figure out the thing that makes you the most excited. Figure out the thing that gives you the most joy. There was a great quote that I heard from Ty Lopez one time. He said, if you don't know what to do, what's the one thing that you can talk about all day long, whether you're getting paid for or not? And the other thing was, what's the one thing that other people say that you're really good at? And those are going to be really strong indicators as to what you should be doing and what you should be focusing on in your life. And generally, the thing that you've been avoiding about all your life, the thing that you feel deep down inside that you're good at, the thing that really lights your jets, but you pretend it doesn't matter, or you pretend that it's silly or stupid because you're worried that people won't respect you or that you won't make enough money, blah, 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 whatever kind of excuses it is, that's what you should be doing. And you have to let the higher power do the heavy lifting for you on how to provide you the resources that you need. My best friend, he's a musician, okay? He lives in Atlanta, and being a musician is hard. It is hard. It's near impossible, but he stuck to it. He really stuck to it and networked and met people, and now he's signed to Stankonia Studios as a lead sound engineer. I mean, that's like a 1 in a million shot. That's a dream, right? But here's the thing. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's out there. You don't know what's available for you. But you have to be open to receiving whatever kinds of experiences that you need to have to learn what you need to go towards. So if you're just getting started and you don't know what you want, God, or the universal consciousness mind, is going to introduce to you like a buffet, a bunch of different situations. You could try this, you could try this, you could try this, you could try this. And it's just going to be like boo, 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 a bunch of different choices for you to try. Now, if you're stupid about it, what you're going to do is you're going to go full-blown into one thing that you maybe don't like and spend a couple years figuring out that you don't really like doing that. If you're smart about it, you're going to understand that you're going to be presented with a bunch of choices and that you need to very quickly determine if it's something that you like to do or not. And based on how you feel about that, based on how easy and how graceful and how fun it is indicative of the path that you should choose. Then you got to ask the divine mind, okay, now I think I've figured out what this is. What is my highest good through this vehicle? What is my highest good through this? If I know that this lights my jets and gets me excited and I'm good at it, but I still don't know how to show up in the world, who do I need to be? What do I need to change in my life in order to get very clear about those things? And generally, it's about energetically clearing house, clearing out old programmings, clearing out bad habits of smoking and sleeping in and eating too much sugar or drinking too much coffee or drinking alcohol, or clearing house of friends, or maybe even moving out of town or doing something different. Remember, if you want to have something change in your life, things have to change. If you want change in your life, things have to change, which means that you can't have a job that really gets you excited and not leave the job that you don't like, right? You have to make the jump. And so that's the only way that you're really going to find something that you really enjoy doing in your life, is to get very clear on what brings you a ton of joy. Figure out if you're really good at starting things and continuing things or finishing things. Align with other people that help fill in the gaps of the things that you don't really do well. Align to something bigger than yourself. And stay consistent. Stay consistent. Always make that the mission. You have to eat, sleep, and breathe what you're doing. I'm eat, sleeping, and breathing this project. Despite the fact that I'm traveling around Europe with these guys, making this stuff happen, I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff every day. I just so happen to have 20 minutes to make this video now to give you guys my thoughts. So I really encourage you guys to go out there and figure out why you're here, because you have an amazing opportunity to be a human, to experience the beauty of the world, to experience the excitement of what it means to have a human experience. And your birthright is fun. Your birthright is to thrive. Your birthright is to live your highest good and your highest purpose, which is always fun and it's always fulfilling. And it might be challenging, but could you imagine doing something exciting and beautiful and it's not challenging at all? It's no fun. Don't fall into the trap that just because there's some resistance or challenge around it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be doing it. So I started doing these men's groups every week, kind of on and off a little bit. I haven't really had enough people coming to where there would be a consistent thing that we'd want to do. But I'm having these men's groups, and I want to invite you to come to these men's groups because this is the things that we talk about. Every time we have somebody come on, there's always some similar vein of thought where it's like, who am I? What's my purpose? What do I need to do? What do I not see? And by having that kind of space, by having that kind of mirror, it's going to show you exactly what you need to do or who you need to be in order to get what you want. Because most men, unfortunately, are like one-man armies and wonder why their life sucks and wonder why they're out of shape and wonder why they're depressed and wonder why they don't have a girlfriend and wonder why they're broke. Because you need men to lift you up. You need men that inspire you, that are doing cool things, to remind you to be inspired and to do cool things yourself. So the link below in the video is a way that you can get involved. I'll just get your email and I'll send you the links, and there's no pressure calls, there's no sales or anything. It's just us, all men, kick-ass dudes, meeting together, sharing value, and inspiring men to remember that you are here to bring about a higher level of consciousness on the planet by aligning with your highest good. Because every man that's aligning with their highest good, living their fullest integrity, living their fullest self, is going to create a heaven on earth. It's obvious. It's cause and effect. If people were living against their highest good, then the world would suffer. And that's why the world is suffering. Because most people don't know why they're here. Most people don't have a sense of purpose. And if they do have a sense of purpose, it's probably not aligned with something that's virtuous or good. And that's the way in which you're going to thrive in your life, is by doing exactly that. So I'd love to see you there, because every conversation is great, and I want you guys to thrive. Thanks, guys.